Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Hideous Thoughts here, coming at you with another Black Desert Online video for console. Today we're going to be going over what ships you may want to be using and why. So we're going to cover all of the different ships, we're going to go over their stats, we're going to take a look at it all, and I'm going to try and help you decide on what ship would be best for you. Now in the background you're just going to see a little bit of gameplay of just me doing some bartering and sailing out in the Margoria Ocean. So you're welcome to take a look at that and see kind of like what I'm doing there. But for the most part, we're going to be going over these stats. So guys, if this video helps you out, don't forget to give it a like and please subscribe to the channel. A massive portion of you who are watching my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. It really helps out the channel, and every interaction helps getting the video out there with the YouTube algorithm. So I really appreciate you guys just clicking that button, and make sure you hit the bell button so you get notified when future videos go live. Alright, so without further ado guys, let's get into the video. Alright, now when you're starting out, you're going to be faced with a decision about what you should be getting. Right? You can do the quest and you get a Bartali Sailboat. You're going to get one of those, but you think to yourself, is it worthwhile upgrading the Bartali Sailboat or building a inferior sailboat from scratch, building a frigate from scratch, or buying one? Which these are all the options you're going to be faced with. Now, at the moment, the current price on the central market is around 1.7 billion silver for an inferior frigate, and it's around 500 to 600 million for a inferior sailboat. And these is on the EU marketplace. This is the prices. This is the prices on the EU marketplace, right? So when you're starting out, it can be kind of expensive, especially if you want a frigate. Right, but if your goal is to get into bartering, then the sailboat is the one that you're going to want to go for. And the reason for that is because basically of the weight that it can carry. Okay, it's not necessarily the faster out of the frigate or the sailboat, but it's got 1000 LT more base weight, which is really going to help you carry loads, like especially with some of these barters that you can do one barter and immediately you're overweight. So you really need as much weight as possible if you're going to be bartering. So here's what you can do. Let's say that the inferior sailboat is 500 million silver, right? Well, you think, wow, that seems like a lot. But when you break it down, if you can make 100 million silver per day by grinding, for example, or doing life skills, you know, even in the lower end areas, if you can make 20 million an hour, it's only like 5 hours to make 100 million, right? Now, not everybody can go and spend 5 hours in the game, I understand that, but it's just kind of breaking it down for you, just to give you kind of an idea about how you can do these things. Life skills is a really great way to make money when you're starting out in the game, and also enhancing for profit is another thing that you can do if you want to make some money. So let's take a look. So we're looking at the stats here, comparing the inferior sailboat and the inferior frigate. We're not going to talk about the cog because it's a waste of time. We're not going to talk about the Bartali sailboat because we don't want that either. What you could do is you could work your way towards the inferior sailboat, and then later on, once you're more established with bartering, then you could upgrade your Bartali sailboat to a frigate. That's one option. The other thing that you can do, guys, as well, is you can build your frigate and your sailboat from scratch. I did that when the ships were first released into Black Desert console. I built my sailboat, and it took me 1 month to do it with all the supplies and everything. So if you are happy to spend the time collecting the resources and doing everything that you need to make it, you're more than welcome to do it. But this is why the frigate is selling for almost 2 billion silver. 3 times as much as the sailboat, is because the resources are a little bit harder to gain. Okay. Alright, so taking a look at the stats of the inferior sailboat and the frigate. So we can see here that the sailboat's got 1 million HP compared to 1.2 million on the frigate. The rations are both the same. So the rations, essentially what rations are is it's like your durability bar, essentially. Okay, when you look at like wagons that have durability, or your weapons that have durability, Your sailboat also has durability, but in the form of rations. Now, you don't need to buy cannonballs anymore, because the cannonballs are included in your rations. So if you are getting low on cannonballs, all you got to do is top up your supplies, and your cannonballs are included in that. So this is what I'm talking about here, your base weight. So we can see 5,000 base weight on the sailboat and 4,000 on the frigate, right? So essentially, this is what you need if you want to start bartering. If you want to start doing trading in the ocean, you're going to need the sailboat, because it doesn't seem like much, but the extra 1,000 base weight is really going to make a massive difference. Now the speed, guys, 100% on the sailboat and 110% on the frigate. So the frigate is a little bit faster, but again, I still wouldn't recommend it for bartering, purely because of the weight. Right, this is a really good one if you want to start getting an introduction into sea monster hunting. Okay, turning 110%, 120% on the frigate, and break is the same. Now the inventory slots, again, this is why trading with the sailboat is better, because you've got 12 slots on the frigate, 25 slots on the sailboat. Now granted, if you're bartering, you're not going to be using all of these slots. I think the most that I've used at one time is 4 slots. Until I'm way overweight, right? But it gives you an option to carry more things. So even if you're fishing or something like that, and you want to carry extra fish, if you're doing hotspot fishing, this is a great option for you for the extra slots here. Cabins 10, so essentially one sailor takes up 10 slots, and you can put one sailor on these. And then you've got your cannons per side, so you've got 1 cannon per side on the sailboat, 2 per side on the frigate, and these are player controlled, so you need someone actually manually on the cannon. So if you're sea monster hunting in a party, the frigate is a really great option, and your 17-second reload time on your cannons is the same. Now with the improved sailboat and the improved frigate, these options here are a great thing to do. The ship that I'm sailing on at the moment is the improved sailboat. So I actually went ahead and did this. Now, if you're starting out, you don't need to do this. You can skip this and go straight to the Carrick or the galleass, right? But it does help. It really does help. Okay, and you're gonna understand that why. Now, the weight is the same, the HP is the same, right? So you're still gonna be at the same weight for these. Speed is the same, acceleration is the same, turning is the same. Brake is the same, your slots is the same, cabin is the same. Now the difference between the improved sailboat and the the improved versions of the inferior sailboat and the frigate is essentially your cannons per side, and the option, and the ability to man these cannons while you're steering the boat. Okay, so you've got here on the improved sailboat, you've got 2 cannons per side and the 13-second cooldown as well, right? So when you're doing your daily sea quest where you've got to kill sea monsters, this here really helps you, okay? And killing sea monsters is going to be a part of collecting materials to go to the next level up in your ships. So while it's not necessary to go from the inferior sailboat to the improved sailboat, it really helps, and it really benefits you. 4 cannons on the frigate with the 13-second cooldown. So if you're sea monster hunting and you do have a frigate, this is really going to play or have a huge impact in how much damage you're doing to the monsters. All right, so now you have a choice about whether you're going you're going to go from the sailboat or the frigate straight to the Carrick or the galleass, or you're going to go to the improved. You guys need to make that decision for yourself. Right, but let's take a look at the next level, which is tier 4 ships. Okay, so we've got here, we're taking a look at the Carrick and the galleass. Now, the HP is the same. 1 million for the Carrick, 1.2 million for the galleass, right? With the Carrick, we've got an extra 100,000 rations. Now, our base weight goes from 5,000 LT to 10,000 LT, right? So we can carry a lot more barter items, and it saves us essentially having to make more trips back to Ilia Island to dump things off and go again. Our speed is the same, 100%. Acceleration is the same, 100%. Turning is the same, 110%. Brake is the same, 110. But we've got an extra 5 slots of the inventory, and we go from being able to have 1 sailor to 3 sailors. Okay, so this really helps because sailors add stats to your ship. They increase your speeding, your speed, and your braking, and all this sort of stuff, right? They increase your stats. So essentially, the more sailors that you have, the better it's going to be because you can increase your speed and all your other stats, and these are really going to play an impact on how much money you can make with bartering and all this other stuff. Okay, so and then we've still got our 13-second cooldown with our 2 cannons per side on the Caravel. Now with the Galleass, we've got the same HP. We've got an extra 200,000 rations. Our weight goes from 4,000 to 8,000. Our speed is the same. Acceleration is the same. Our turning is the same. Our braking is the same. We go from 12 inventory slots to 15 slots, and we still get the option of 3 sailors with the 3 times cabin space, and we've still got the 4 cannons per side, which is controlled by the captain. Okay, so great option for sea monster hunting. Again, the Caravel is the one you're going to want to rush as fast as possible if you want to do bartering. Okay, and purely because of that 10,000 base weight, right? The Galleass is faster. So if you guys are really crazy and you build both ships at the same time for whatever reason, then you can use the frigate for your sea monster hunting to collect all your materials, and then you can use the Caravel for bartering. However, I probably would just recommend focusing on one ship at a time because it's very time consuming and very resource demanding. Okay, so now we've got our 2 options here, the Caravel or the Galleass. If you're bartering, the Caravel is the one that you're going to want to rush as fast as possible because you can do more barters, things start to speed up a little bit, and you can start to make a little bit more money. Okay, after that gets a little bit more kind of confusing and a little bit harder to decide. So here's what we've got. The first one is 2 options, the Carrick Advance or the Carrick Balance. Now the Carrick Advance and Balance are upgrades from the inferior Sailboat side. So you've got, you think of these and you go, what the hell is the difference between these? Well, let's take a look. The Carrick Advance is suited for bartering. It is the highest weight and inventory slots, and it's probably the one that everyone should go for first when they start bartering. The thing with the Carrick Advance is it's also one of the slowest, and it's the worst one for killing sea monsters. Okay, so we've got 1.35 million HP, 1.3 million rations. We've got 16,500 base weight, so it's got the highest base weight out of all the Carricks. 110% speed, 100% acceleration. We get an extra 5% turn, 5% brake. We go to 40 inventory slots. We get an extra 2 cabin space, so we go up to 5 sailors. And we go 9 cannons with the 13-second cooldown. Okay, so it's the worst one for killing sea monsters because your cooldown time is the slowest, right? That'd be why. And it's also got not great turning, not great braking, and not great acceleration speed, all that sort of stuff. So it's the best one for bartering because you can carry a lot of items. Now let's take a look at the Carrick Balance. Well, the Carrick Balance is pretty average in all areas. It doesn't really have a single stat that accelerates or is amazing in any way. And most people are probably going to just skip this one. Okay, so we've got the 1.3 million HP, 1.4 million rations. So it does have a little bit extra rations. The base weight is only 15,000 compared to the 16,500 on the Advance. We've got an extra 5% speed compared to the Carrick Advance. The acceleration is the same, the turning is the same, the braking is the same. It's got less inventory slots with 35 slots compared to 40. The cabins is the same, and it does have a 1 second faster cooldown than the Advance. Okay, so compared to the Advance, it does have some things that are a little bit better, but it's still not the best one for bartering because it's got the less base weight. And the base weight is going to be one of the most important things. Alright, so now we've taken a look at the Carrick Advance and the Carrick Balance. Let's take a look at the frigate side of things. And the first one is the Valentine. Now with the Valentine, you've got 1.25 million HP, which is only 50,000 more than the Galleass, and it's also 100,000 less than the Advance. We've got 1.4 million rations, which is 100,000 more than the Advance, and 200,000 more than the Galleass. It's got 13,500 base weight, which it's okay, but it's definitely not the one that you're going to want to use for bartering compared to the Advance, which has 16.5 thousand. 120% speed, 110% acceleration, 125% turning, 125% braking, 20 inventory slots, 5 cabin spaces, 9 cannons with the 12-second cooldown. So the Carrick Valentine is the fastest ship. It's good for bartering if you're going over to, say, Hakoven or Margoria, because it's very, very fast. It's the fastest one out of all of them with the 120% speed. Okay. Now, also, it is good for killing sea monsters with the 12-second cooldown, but it's not the best one for killing sea monsters. Let's say if you were doing your sailies every day, your daily repeatable quests out in the ocean, this is probably like the best ship that you can use for that, because it's fast and it is relatively good at killing sea monsters. So it's a really overall balanced ship for those tasks of completing daily quests as fast as possible and killing sea monsters. Okay. Now the last ship that we're going to talk about is the Carrick Vala. Okay. Now the Carrick Vala is the best one for killing sea monsters with the 2-second faster reload, and it can use 1 less volley to kill than the Valentine. Now this means it needs to do less turning, less aiming, and most importantly, if only half the shots hit the target, it's not too shabby. Okay, so taking a look at the stats here, 1.3 million HP compared to the so that's 50,000 compared to the Valentine. 1.5 million rations, 100,000 more than the Valentine. 13,500 base weight. Now it's got 5% less speed. The acceleration is the same, the turning is the same, the braking is the same. It's got 20 inventory slots, 50 cabin spaces, so that's still 5 sailors, and the 11-second cooldown on the 9 cannons. So this is why it's the best one for sea monster hunting, because you've got such a short time for the reload speed compared to the other ships. Okay guys, so I hope that kind of gives you an understanding about what you should be going for. For me personally, I'm going to be building all 3 ships. I'm going to be building myself the Carrick Advance, the Carrick Valentine, and the Vala. And that way that I've got the options for my bartering. I've got the Valentine there to help me complete my daily sea quests as fast as possible, killing sea monsters and all that. And I've got the Vala for doing any other just pure warfare type stuff on the ocean. Okay, that's the best one for that. Alright guys, so I hope that helps you out. If it does, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments below what you think about the ships. And also if you're doing any sea content at all. A lot of people aren't, but a lot of people are, so I'm curious to know if you guys are interested in doing something like that. The next video I'm going to be releasing is going to be covering a little bit about bartering for you guys, so we're making our way through this. Alright guys, but that's going to be it for this video. Hope that helps you out, and I will see you in the next one.